I come to you today with a question. What is the best prefecture in Japan? Japan has 47 prefectures. I should know, I've been to most of them. But for someone who's been to most of the prefectures, I gotta tell you, it's hard to pick a favorite. That is to say, it's hard to say which is the best prefecture in Japan. There are just so many different prefectures, and they all have so many different good qualities, good points about them. Perhaps if I want to dive into nature, I'd go up north, check out the Tohoku region, maybe go to Aomori for some of their amazing winter festivals. For their big Nebuta festival, maybe a good lantern festival there. Maybe I'll head to Niigata. The rice is delicious, the weather is cold, the Nihonshu is always flowing. My point is, every prefecture, I believe, has good points and of course, has bad points. But that makes it very hard to choose the best prefecture. What if we change the question? What about the most attractive prefecture? What is the most attractive prefecture in Japan? This is a question that has been argued, battled out online and in person for decades, not only by international travelers coming to Japan, but by the Japanese people themselves. But since 2006, the Brand Research Institute decided enough of the debates, enough of the fighting. We're gonna create a system to finally close this debate once and for all. We're creating the most attractive prefecture survey. This is not a competition, this is not a contest. This is a scientifically run survey for the Japanese people. The annual survey, yes, it's an annual survey that's been going on from 2006 until current year, which is 2025. And if you're watching this video in 2026, 2027, there's gonna be new surveys out for the past years. So check those out as well. This survey gauges the public perception of different prefectures based on different factors. My current numbers might be shaky, but since 2006, every single year without fail, the Brand Research Institute has asked 35,000 people across 1,000 municipalities and every one of the 47 prefectures to answer this survey to work out which is the greatest prefecture or the most attractive prefecture for that year. Let's quickly break down how this survey is assessed. One key factor, awareness. A simple awareness of the prefecture. I know what you're thinking, awareness of the prefecture? What do you mean? Of course they're gonna know of the existence of the prefecture. Really? Is that so? Okay, viewer, here is a map of Japan with nothing labeled. Pick out Fukui. Huh? Where is it? Pick out Fukui. Pretty difficult. Here's an easier one. Where is Saga? Point out Saga Prefecture. Anything? It's over here. What about Ehime? Where's Ehime? I know. It's a lot more difficult than you think it's gonna be. When you don't have your Dekkaidos, well, Hokkaido, also known as Dekkaido because it's bloody Dekkai, Fukuoka, Osaka, Kyoto, your obvious popular prefectures, easy to know, have great brand recognitions, but for your tinier places, they really do fail when it comes to just awareness of the prefecture. Desire to visit, which is of course, how desirable is that prefecture for people to come and visit as domestic tourists? Because once again, this survey is only open to Japanese people. So you as an international traveler have no sway on this survey. So how appealing are these prefectures as tourist destinations? Kyoto, for example, a lovely place. People love to visit Kyoto from outside of Japan, but it's also a massive tourist hub for domestic travelers. Every student I've ever known has gone to Kyoto at one point or another, but because of its revisitability, that doesn't seem to take away from Kyoto. So obviously, Kyoto ranks pretty highly when it comes to livability or how much we want to live and travel there. The next one is desire to reside. How desirable is the prefecture to live in? Pretty self-explanatory. There are certain really wonderful prefectures that have really affordable housing, good connections to bigger cities. So some smaller prefectures are actually more desirable to be lived in by Japanese people than, for example, Tokyo. Tokyo, you're paying a lot of money on rent, basically, for not that much. You can live just outside Tokyo, Saitama, Chiba, Kanagawa. You can even live down in, I don't know, like Shizuoka, and get to Tokyo pretty easily. So when it comes to the desire to live in the prefecture that score the highest are pretty surprising. If it was just me and I was ranking the prefectures on how desirable said prefecture was to live in, Osaka would be really low down. 47, 46 maybe, because it's just, I have no desire to live there. I have no desire to live there. Sorry, Osaka, but I have no desire to live there at all. Holy shit, dude, no. The last one I would say is the big one, and that's the evaluation of regional resources. This is pretty all-encompassing. That's how people perceive the nature of the prefecture. And by nature, I don't mean like the vibe. I mean like literally the nature. How much nature does this prefecture have? What are the cultural and economic assets of this prefecture? If I go to live in Fukuoka, for example, what kind of different cultures will I be exposed to in the prefecture? Is it going to be very similar to Tokyo, to Osaka, or is it going to be something completely new and different and unique? How interesting is that going to be for me personally? For example, if I was a Japanese person born and raised in Tokyo, I wouldn't see a point of them going to live in Osaka. While the cities are vastly different, the baseline is still just a big city. You know what I mean? It's stuff like that that comes into play when working out the most attractive prefecture in Japan. Before I dive into what is basically the top 7 prefectures in Japan, it's really important to understand why these prefectures were voted as the top 7. Certain important factors kept coming up when it came to the top 7 or top 10 prefectures in Japan. Convenient transportation, super important. Not just in the city itself, but also going to other cities. That means Shinkansen links. That means actual buses that run on time and not just, loop buses, which is, for those who don't know, buses that literally just go in a big circle around a tiny city. I had a loop bus in my old city, and they are very, very important for older populations that live there. So, not calling for like the trashing of all loop buses, but if you're a spry young individual and you want to get around your new city, there's, loop buses are great. They're affordable, really affordable, like 100 yen per like unlimited loop. But, it's not everything. Also, surprisingly, attractive onsens. Onsens are a very important part of Japanese culture. For those who've never lived or been to an onsen, the second you do, I promise you'll get it. There is something very relaxing about an extremely hot natural spring. It kind of like melts away your fatigue. And it's a very big part of Japanese culture, which is why I kind of understand why it's kind of a key factor in voting for people's favorite prefectures. Next was amusement facilities, so like your theme parks, your rides, your museums, etc., but also parks. Just simple parks. Big open green spaces are really important in Japan. They're really important everywhere. I think a lot of these key factors you'd also think about in your own city. It's something that if your city had, you would find it, a more attractive place to live. To speed through the last 3, historical towns and architecture, self-explanatory. Rich nature. Nature really plays a big part in a lot of these rankings. It's been mentioned like 3 or 4 times already. There is something about how much Japanese people put on like having access to nature, and I really like it. Outdoor activities are a big thing. Camping, picnics, hanami, park, mountain climbing, fishing. There's something to be said about how easy it is to access outdoor activities in Japan. There are certain things that I had never done before until coming to Japan. Fishing was one of them. For those who don't know, I was born and raised in London. When the hell can I go fishing, But I came to Japan, and a few years in, I was fishing monthly almost with some of my boys down in Kanagawa. And of course, possibly the most important thing for anyone, regional foods and goods. Speaks for itself. I want my prefecture to have good food. I don't want to live in a prefecture where the most exciting food there is, beans, red beans. Like, I've just ran from a country where the only food they really have is beans in a can. I mean, it's delicious, don't get me wrong. I'll smash beans on toast any day of the week, don't get me wrong. But I'm living in Japan now. There's no point moving to a city where the famous food is unko on toast. No, that still bangs. But if that was the only thing there, you get my point. Let's jump into the rankings. Let's talk about these rankings. Delectable. We have run through the important things. You and I, we're now experts in this survey. We now understand what makes an attractive prefecture attractive. Let's dive through the ranking. And as I said before, we're gonna go through the top 7. Why the top 7? That is a great question. That is a fantastic question. Why the top 7? It gives me a reason to dunk on Osaka. That's literally it. Let's dive into the top 7. One very important thing to know is we're talking about the rankings for 2024. Those are the only rankings that are currently out. So we're doing 2024 and of course 2023. Why also 2023? So we can see how far the prefectures have fallen. That's very important. Or rose in the ranks. We'll work it out. Number 7, to no one's surprise, Osaka. Osaka Prefecture is a staple prefecture. Maybe it's not my cup of tea, but I understand why it ranks so highly in this prefectural most attractiveness ranking. I know tons of people who want to live in Osaka, who love visiting Osaka for various reasons. The food in Osaka is delicious. You cannot take this away from Osaka. When you look through the criteria that we're judging these prefectures on, it just makes perfect sense. The food is great. I know people travel there a lot. There are really big historical buildings and streets there. I'm not entirely sure how many onsens are in Osaka Prefecture, but I know there's a bunch of sento, which is like man-made bathhouses, which are still pretty bloody fantastic. I've been to a bunch of them. They are very wonderful. When it comes to transportation links, listen, it's Osaka. It's damn good. You can zoom up to Kyoto in like an hour. You can get up to Nara in maybe an hour and a half. You know, it's comparable to Tokyo, but it's not as good as Tokyo, which is why it's in 7th place. Personally, what I find the most interesting about the ranks between 2024 and 2023 is that Osaka fell 2 whole places. I know what you mean. Oh, it's only 2 places. It's not a big deal. It's a massive deal. Falling 2 places is crazy. And as we go through these rankings, you'll start to understand like, okay, cool. These rankings don't shift that much. 2 places is crazy. And I have a theory as to why Osaka has dropped 2 places. Osaka's grand, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to livability, it's not up there. When it comes to tourist location, domestic travel, yeah, it's fine, but like, are you going to Osaka for Osaka? Or are you going to Osaka because the hotels there are cheaper than Kyoto? And you can just wake up early and travel to Kyoto. I see Osaka stock dropping slowly, and these rankings show 2023, 5th place, 2024, 7th place. We'll see how you do in 2025. Number 6, I'm honestly not surprised. If you've been a fan of this channel, I've mentioned this prefecture time and time again. It's one of my favorite prefectures. 2023, it was 6th place. 2024, it's still in 6th place. It's Fukuoka. Fukuoka is so much fun. It is Osaka on steroids. It's what Osaka, I would say, used to be. You know how people are like, oh my god, Osaka is so gritty and the people are so friendly and everyone just talks to you, blah, blah, blah. Not anymore. Not for the last few years, and I don't know why, but I've been hearing more and more commentary about how Osaka isn't as friendly as it used to be, or Osaka isn't as fun as it used to be. The people aren't as open to having like street conversations as it used to be. I've been to Fukuoka a bunch of times. A couple times for work, a couple times for freelance stuff, and a few times just like personal trips. Every time I've been there, it has been an amazing time. The food is great. They have really interesting architecture there. There's sento, there's onsens. The layout of the city is fantastic. You can go from deep city Fukuoka to the countryside in like 20 minutes. And it will blow your mind as well, to the extent where you'll be on the train, you'll look outside, it's full city, it's crazy. If you look down to your phone, look back up again, you are in the deepest countryside you've ever been in. The links to nature are amazing. Traveling around Kyushu, so easy. Big Shinkansen station, connection from the airport to the main city. You can walk there. If you wanted to, you could walk from Hakata station to the airport in, I think, like an hour. The trains are also fantastic. Links really good. The food is phenomenal. I could go on all day, but I won't because we're only on number 6 and we still have a few more rankings to go. But Fukuoka, this is well deserved, and honestly, you should have got a higher grade. I believe Fukuoka should be top 5, but we'll see how this year goes. In 2023, this prefecture was 7th place, and now it's in 5th place. For those with a keen mind, you're connecting the dots. That's right, it swapped places with Osaka. It is a prefecture that I used to live in years ago, and in thinking about it, it makes perfect sense that this prefecture is where it is. Looking at the evaluations, looking at how they judge attractiveness in this competition, oh my god, it makes perfect sense. Number 5, Kanagawa. For those who don't know, Kanagawa is the big prefecture just below Tokyo. Kanagawa is so close to Tokyo, and the access into Tokyo is so easy. People who live in Kanagawa, you basically live in Tokyo. Looking at the full evaluation, it makes perfect sense. Living in Kanagawa is dirt cheap. It has amazing access links to various locations. By various locations, I mean various locations. You're trying to go to Mount Fuji, you're closer in Kanagawa than you are in Tokyo. You're trying to go to Tokyo, it's literally up the road. It's right there, it's insane. Yokohama, that's in Kanagawa. A lot of the big shrines, a lot of the big anime spots, like I think there's that one slam dunk train thing in Enoshima, that's Kanagawa. A lot of like big interesting temples and shrines that a lot of people do come to Japan just to visit, they're in Kanagawa. It's pretty insane. It's so insane that when I was a student, I didn't realize Yokohama was Kanagawa. Because the smoothness of the journey from Tokyo to Kanagawa, you just don't know you've changed prefectures. It never computes that you've moved from one prefecture to another. You jump on a train and you're there. That's it. Not only is this well deserved, I think Kanagawa is a bloody fantastic prefecture. It's somewhere that I lived for a long time when I first came to Japan. I would say that maybe? No, I was gonna say I think it deserves a higher score, but no, I think this is the perfect place. I think eking into the top 5 is kind of perfect for Kanagawa. It's actually so good that I think if you're coming to live in Japan and you're working somewhere in South Tokyo, just live in Kanagawa. There's no point spending the extra San-Yeon-man in Tokyo. Just live in Kanagawa. Rent's cheaper, houses are bigger, food is pretty decent, people are nicer. That's very important. And honestly, most of your friends who will be hanging out in Tokyo will probably end up living in Kanagawa, Saitama, Chiba, or like really deep West Tokyo. So, you know, either way, you're gonna catch that last train home or you're gonna be out all night. So, good job, Kanagawa. Respectable 5th place. Good job. When it comes to the top 7 prefectures, the rankings rarely change, which is why it was surprising that Kanagawa and Osaka swapped places. Here's how surprising it was. 1 to 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2023 and 2024, nothing has changed. 4, 3, 2, 1 are in the exact same places. So I'm just gonna stop mentioning 2023 because the rankings have not changed since then. Number 4, you know her, you love her, you have 100% visited this prefecture without a shadow of a doubt. It's Tokyo. Ah yes, Tokyo. Everyone's favorite city to hate, but all routes lead back to Tokyo. It may not be the most attractive prefecture in Japan, but let me tell you, you've been here. Everyone's been here. Everyone, more or less, wants to live in Tokyo. Not only world famous, also famous in Japan herself, the 4th ranking makes perfect sense. Look back at the evaluations. What was number 1? Awareness. Awareness? It's Tokyo. It's Tokyo. It's one of the most recognizable cities in the world. Every fucking song, Tokyo, New York, blah, blah. Everyone in the world knows about Tokyo. To not get full marks on that would be insane. Desire to visit and desire to live are really interesting. Tokyo, for me personally, doesn't seem like a city that I would think that Japanese people want to visit a bunch of times. Living here makes sense. It's like the economic hub of Japan. Lots of jobs here. It's really easy to move around to other locations from Tokyo. Visiting, I don't fully understand. Unless you're visiting here for something. An event is happening, there's a cafe that's open that's only in Japan, there's a concert that's happening in Tokyo Dome or wherever. Outside of that, I can't really think of a reason one would visit Tokyo. More than a few times, I should say. Once, twice, 3, 4 times makes perfect sense. Check out Tokyo Tower, look at Skytree, see Sensoji, eat some like really mid Tokyo okonomiyaki, the middest. Oh my god, Tokyo okonomiyaki is so fucking mid. They put mochi in it, it's not good. Hiroshima yaki, that's the original, that's what you want. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, it's kind of hard to understand why Tokyo would have the high ranking it has until you get to the last part of what's being assessed. The evaluation of regional assets. Bro, it's Tokyo. Everything is in Tokyo. There is nothing you can't find in Tokyo. You wanna go to cheap izakaya? We've got that. Parks, onsen, sentos? We've got that. Access links to where, baby? To where? All roads lead back to Tokyo. Everything is here. Everything links back here. We are the start and the end of every train journey. It is insane how much is in Tokyo. There's gonna be people in the comments like, oh, but Jordan, you know, when I was in Tokyo, I was looking for X thing and I couldn't find it. I guarantee we have it and you just didn't look hard enough. I promise you. Tokyo is a powerhouse when it comes to cultural, economic assets. I would actually say, I actually think Tokyo deserves top 3, but I'm not allowed to vote in this survey, so I'll keep my thoughts to myself. Now we're getting to the big boys. Now we're getting to the make or break, the greatest, the most attractive prefectures in Japan, the top 3. Big dog number 3, Okinawa. Okinawa is a difficult one. I completely understand the ranking. I know why Japanese people have voted it as the 3rd most attractive prefecture. You got your beaches, you got your sand, you got your really good Okinawa cuisine. One of the key factors was, does this prefecture have some kind of cultural assets, some interesting things I can learn that other prefectures don't have? Yeah, Okinawa has that because Okinawa is barely Japan. Okinawa is like Ryukyu Kingdoms, the newest like prefecture that's been like sort of hooked into Japan. If you need international similarities, think America, Hawaii. That is what Okinawa is to Japan, basically. It's so much so that a lot of my Okinawan friends that are friends who are born and raised in Okinawa to Okinawan parents sometimes don't see themselves as quote unquote Japanese. They see themselves as Okinawan. One of my friends who is like half Okinawan, half Japanese, introduces herself exactly like that. She says, oh, I'm half Okinawan and I'm half Japanese. It's a concept that you wouldn't fully appreciate until you visit Okinawa yourself and you realize, oh, this is not Japan. And depending on where you visit, the rest of that sentence is going to be wildly different. If you visit Naha and only Naha, the biggest island in Okinawa, that sentence is going to be, wow, this isn't Japan, this is America. That's all Naha is anymore. It's basically one big, weird America-Japan fusion thing that's happened. I personally hate Naha. I think it's it's terrible. The beaches are trash. I mean, the people are fine. The food is, it's Okinawan food is pretty good. But like, it's just become sort of one big party city. It's disgusting. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty disgusting. It's pretty grimy. I didn't have a good time there. When I was there, I thought like, why are people visiting Okinawa? I don't get the hype. It's pretty mid. However, you leave Naha. Oh my gosh. You leave Naha for any other island that isn't Naha. Wow. Just spectacular. That is the true Okinawa. People are super friendly. Everyone's welcoming. The food is fucking phenomenal. Just fantastic. And the pace of life is just so much slower. Everyone's more chill. Everyone's taking their time. Everyone's just vibing, relaxing. Just, you know what I mean? Just having a general good time on the island. It is just night and day. When you're looking at things being evaluated, livability, visitability, you know these are going to be highs. almost 9s or 10s in rankings. Then when you get to things like the food, the culture, nature, these are all going to be maxed out. It has everything you need in this survey, you know, in the elements of this survey, basically. It's a hard one to judge. If I don't think about the existence of Naha and I only focus on the smaller, more interesting, more beautiful islands, I go, yeah, dude, top 2, top 3 makes perfect sense. God, yeah, hell yeah. And then I remember Naha exists and I'm like, 4, 5 maybe? Most attractive prefecture, top 3, Okinawa? Fair enough, we'll see what happens in 2025. But knowing how these rankings work, it's probably not going to shift that much. But you know, we could be surprised. The rankings have greatly shifted before. If you've never been to Okinawa, I would definitely say it's worth visiting. I'd get to Naha, spend maybe a day there, and then leave immediately and go just to one of the smaller islands. If you can drive, makes a lot more sense to go to the smaller islands as well. It's going to be like, sometimes it's kind of like driving only, or there are places where you can rent bikes near the oceans. But you know, do your own research, have a good time. Before we dive into the top 2, write down in the comments down below right now, what do you think are going to be the top 2 prefectures? Number 2, Kyoto. I mean, was there any surprise? Kyoto was going to be number 2 or number 1. It's known throughout the world. It is on the Golden Triangle, which is basically Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto. It is a famous 3 prefectures that every single person who visits Japan has basically done. Every single Japanese person I know has basically been there. It has numerous old temples, old structures, great street food, great food. Livability doesn't really make sense to me. I know people are kind of hesitant about living in Tokyo, especially nowadays with the amount of foot traffic that's currently happening in Tokyo. But remember, this is from 2024. So this year, 2025, where there's been a hell of a lot more foot traffic, you have to wonder, is Kyoto going to keep its ranking, or are people not going to want to live there as much because, you know, the amount of increased tourism there and the amount of negative press that's gone towards that? But only time will tell. There's not really much to say about Kyoto, by which I mean there's a ton to say about Kyoto, but everyone kind of knows it. Historical capital, great place to live, good food, historical buildings, onsen, sentons, etc., etc. It is worthy of its rank as the second most attractive prefecture in Japan. Let's talk about number 1. Number 1, the most attractive prefecture in Japan, it's a powerhouse. And honestly, if you're an international traveler to Japan, I don't think you're going to realize how much of a powerhouse this prefecture is. It's not on any golden routes for travelers to Japan. It's not Kyoto, it's not Osaka or Tokyo. It's a place seemingly out of the way, depending on, you know, what your goals are coming to Japan, how you're deciding to travel around Japan. But before I reveal this prefecture's name, you have to understand how much, once again, how much of a powerhouse this prefecture is. The most attractive prefecture survey has been running since 2006. This prefecture has got first place in every single one of these surveys. From 2006 until 2024, Hokkaido Prefecture has got first place, the most attractive prefecture every single year. That might be surprising for some of you who've never been to Hokkaido, who only know about the snow festival and nothing else. Hokkaido is massive, the biggest prefecture in Japan. The revisitability for Hokkaido alone is absolutely insane. If you've only been in wintertime, you've only seen 1/4 of this prefecture. Even if you went to every single place in Hokkaido during winter, you've only seen 1/4. Because this prefecture goes through such drastic changes depending on the season, it's mind-boggling. Winter, you have the snow festival, the Yuki Matsuri, and that's well and good. Giant ice sculptures, it is a grand time, really, really fun. Summer, it is one of the coolest prefectures during summertime, very important. It doesn't get as swelteringly hot as the rest of Japan, which means certain festivals are easier to attend, certain locations become more open, lakes, rivers, hiking, all of that is available in Hokkaido and it's way more comfortable to do. Spring, autumn, every single season in Hokkaido has a little pocket of culture separate to that season. It's pretty fantastic, honestly. Looking at Hokkaido and looking at what the survey assesses, Hokkaido has everything. And I mean everything. So for number one, let's quickly go through them. Awareness of the place, of course. Everyone knows about Hokkaido in Japan, and it even has the nickname Dekaido because it's massive. Dekai means massive. Desire to visit, of course, multiple times a year. You can visit Hokkaido every single season and there's something new to do there. Desire to reside? Yeah, Hokkaido's great to live in. Yeah, there's snow during the winter time, which if you're adverse to snow like I am, might be difficult, but there's underground passageways, so you don't have to deal with the snow in the major cities if you don't want to. It's pretty cool. Also, the rent is really good, the people are nice, the food is excellent, like it is a great place to live. And then of course there was the evaluation of regional resources. Nature, there's a ton of nature. Cultural and economic assets, there are tons. Hokkaido is an economic hub all to itself and a cultural hub all to itself. There's history stemming back generations in Hokkaido. It is a fantastic place to visit, a fantastic place to live. Remember, there was all those key factors, of course. Transportation. It has amazing transportation. Transportation that even works in heavy snow. Onsens, tons of natural onsens. It's ridiculous how many natural onsens are in Hokkaido. Amusement facilities and parks, abundance. There is an abundance of open green spaces there, an abundance of interesting facilities, amusement parks. It's just a grand place to go. Once again, we'll speed through the last ones. Historical towns and architecture. Yeah, look, there is so much there. It is bubbling over with history. Rich nature, we've discussed this. It's mostly nature. It is bloody fantastic. And regional and good foods. If you want some good seafood, Hokkaido has it. You want some good beef? Hokkaido has it. Vegetables, rice, good alcohol, good snacks, they're in Hokkaido. Good milk, dairy products, lamb. Yes, lamb. Very difficult to find in Japan. Hokkaido has it. Because Hokkaido has the space to rear it. Hokkaido has everything. It makes perfect sense why Hokkaido is, on paper and honestly, in practice, the most attractive prefecture to Japanese people. But also, to me. I'd live there. It's pretty cool. And guys, that's it. Those are the most attractive prefectures in Japan as voted on by the Japanese people. Do you agree with the ranking? If you could write your own top 5 ranking, what would it be? What are your top 5 most attractive prefectures in Japan? If you can only think of 3, I'll accept a top 3. But guys, I'm gonna love you and leave you, and I will see you in the next one where I talk about the least attractive prefectures in Japan. I'll see you there. Bye bye.